Hi everyone, welcome to our video and our interview. Today we are going to talk about the SDG number 12, that's about responsible consumption and production. Here we're with our teammates Rachel, Sophia, Charlie and Eiko, and we're going to talk about this important issue that's caused a lot of things in Australia, our world, and on ourselves. So our first guest is Sophia. She's an expert about this issue in textile waste, and she's going to talk about how this issue impacts the world. So the first question is, what's the effect of methane in this and why is it a big deal?
Okay, so methane is a huge deal in this problem. Methane is the second largest contributor to our global warming.
Oh, wow.
And it's the biggest problem is that it traps 80 times more heat than carbon dioxide. So our clothes are producing methane when we're throwing them to the landfill.
80 times? That's insane. And it comes from old clothes?
Exactly. When textile waste, it decomposes in landfills, especially all of the synthetic stuff, which is related to fast fashion, it releases methane. Between 2014, methane was responsible for 0.5 Celsius of global warming temperature rise. This brings heat, floods, wildfires.
Wow, so we're not just talking about this climate change. So we are talking about more about our health, right?
Yeah, it's not only the climate, it's also that the floods raise hospitalization rates, wildfire damage our lungs, and droughts affect sanitization and food. It's a domino effect that all starts with old clothes.
Wow. So what happens when we throw away our synthetic clothes? Like, what about the microplastics and that stuff?
Well, yes, every wash of our clothes, every clothes we toss out, our nylon leggings or our polyester t-shirts break down into microplastics. It's tiny particles under 5 millimeters that end up in our oceans and in us.
In us? Really?
Yeah, in us. They've been found in our blood, our lungs, and even our placentas. And they can mess with our hormones, cause inflammation, and maybe even cause cancer.
Oh wow, okay, well, final words, what we can do as individuals.
Well, we need brands to take responsibility.
Yeah.
So we need to push for circular fashion and for us as consumers to buy less and buy smarter. All we need to do is push the policies aligned with the SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production.
So hi everyone, so here is Rachel and she's going to talk about the individual perspective of the topic and how these textile waste affect us. So for you, the first question is, in what ways do you think these everyday choices made by individuals might continue to negatively influence this?
So everyday choices such as overconsumption, excessive waste production, and choosing convenience over sustainability significantly harms the progress of SDG 12. So like the frequent purchase of fast fashion contributes to the already high levels of textile waste and pollution, and the fashion industry alone is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions. So these choices were often made out of habit or convenience, undermine the goal of ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns.
Okay, and can you share an example of this and how this affects the process of the SDG goals?
Yeah, so for me, when I started working, I used to buy fast fashion frequently. Like cheap prices attracted me quickly, and the changing of trends made me a victim to these like buying habits. But after I learned the unethical labour practices and the levels of pollution that it's causing, I did research and I really understood what's happening in the world and definitely changed my habits quickly to promote more responsible consumption.
Okay, and like what are some practical actions individuals can take to support the targets of the SDG and like how to create more sustainable futures?
So a practical way is just by making more sustainable fashion choices, by choosing fewer clothes, supporting ethical and eco-friendly brands, and shopping second-hand helps a lot. It promotes reusing and repairing clothes that might just need a little TLC, and these small conscious decisions can help promote responsible consumption and move us closer to a more sustainable future.
So now we are going to talk about the ethical theories, and Eiko is going to help us with that.
From a virtual ethic perspective, virtual ethic focuses on the character of the consumer rather than the consequences of the consumption of textiles. It explores the habits and qualities that influence how we choose to consume. And on average, Australians wear a clothes that around 7 times before tossing it away. And overconsumption of textile would be labeled as vices, the vices of overconsumption. Overconsumption leads to excessive waste production, and choosing convenience over sustainability demonstrates a lack of control or moderation and responsibility of a consumer. So this shows a lack of mindfulness and compassion when a person prioritizes instant gratification, such as being on trend over a long period of lack of mindfulness and compassion when a person prioritizes instant gratification, such as being on trend over long-term well-being and welfare of others. And consumers can move on from a habit driven by the appeal of cheap prices and constantly changing trends to one being consciously responsible consumers, such as shopping less often and choosing more sustainable brand, focusing on quality over quantity, and repairing and reusing the clothes. It is not just about reducing individual carbon footprint, but about becoming a better, more thoughtful, and more responsible person. So by buying less and buy smarter encourages the practice of wisdom, emphasizing careful and thoughtful decision making. From this perspective, it supports the UN SDG 12 isn't just a matter of following rules, it is an expression of a good character.
Hello, we are with Charlie here. She's the CEO of Cotton On, and she's going to talk about the business perspective of the issue in the industry. So first, are you aware that Australians are the world's biggest fashion consumers? And are you aware that Cotton On plays a role in this overconsumption?
Yes, 100%. Aussies love their fashion, and we buy more clothes per person than anyone else on the planet. Some people blame fast fashion brands like mine, but hey, let's be honest, it's not just us. Overconsumption is a shared problem. Around 87.5% of clothes end up in landfill each year. So most people toss their garments out just after only 7 wears. That's why people may say Cotton On is negatively affecting the UN SDG Goal 12 of responsible consumption and production. And yes, Cotton On makes a big amount of sales per year with $2.2 billion. But the real issue isn't how much we sell, it's how much gets wasted. We get that. We're not ignoring it, we're working on it. And it's not just about pointing fingers, it's about finding real solutions.
Yeah, so what's Cotton On actually doing to take care of this overconsumption problem and all the textile waste that we're...
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're not just sitting back, we're stepping up, and in line with the UN SDG Goal 12.5, we're cutting waste by focusing on prevention, recycling and reuse.
Nice.
So we've made sustainably sourced cotton our standard. We're started by using recycled cotton in products like our graphic tees and even phased out mixed fibres. So right now those tees that we're making have 20% recycled cotton in them. Yeah, so we are just getting started, so this is only the beginning. Our big goal by 2030 is we want to have 100% of our products that will be sustainable attributes. And this goal aligns directly with the SDG Goal 12.5 in reducing waste through recycling.
So now we are going to link the ethical theory of utilitarianism with the issue and the business perspective.
From a utilitarian perspective, the current model of fast fashion is unethical. The long-term severe negative consequences of environmental damage and waste seem far to outweigh the short-term benefit of cheap clothing and corporate profits. The CEO efforts to mitigate harm using recycled cotton and made with sustainable attributes by 2030 can be seen as a shift toward maximizing for the overall benefits. This strategy will help to reduce harm such as waste and pollution caused by their operations, and aiming for a better overall result that fits the responsible of consumption and production goal of the UN SDG 12.
So thank you everyone for watching this interview. Hopefully you understand the detrimental issue and its effects on the UN SDG number 12. Thank you.